Hi, my name is Nacho, welcome back to the channel. And have I ever told you the definition of insanity? Insanity is uploading hundreds of videos into a platform in order to attract a larger audience and reach more people with your content, while YouTube inexplicably continues to pull the e-brake in all the videos that seems to be performing well, while the random chick on Twitter with relatively large bazungas gets 18 million views in a video of her shouting at the top of her lungs while gesticulating in a way that exaggerates the size and movement of her breasticles that are displayed in a surprisingly supportive cleavage while ranting about Ahsoka, I think? I didn't unmute the video, I don't think anyone did. But regardless, 18 million views! That is crazy. Even more evidence that the game is rigged from the start. Unfortunately for y'all, I don't have the assets that lovely mute lady has, so instead I'm gonna make the most of what I do have, which is some dry and dark humor and some subpar editing skills, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about the one girl social media loves to hate, Rachel Zegler. If you haven't been following on the latest Snow White drama, here's an easy graph that will help you understand. Basically, Rachel Zegler managed to sink her reputation amongst fans by simply talking. Even in her YouTube channel, where she occasionally posts herself singing, which she's actually kinda decent at, not only she's getting absolutely ratioed, all the comments are slamming her on how she conducted herself in her interviews. But like I said in my previous videos, she's not the only one to blame, because articles like this where the director of the mildly anticipated Hunger Games prequel answered the question of whether or not people would go see the new movie without Katniss, which is a valid question for any prequel that doesn't have its main protagonist, where he proceeded to paint Rachel as the anti-Katniss. I don't understand why they can't build a character up without having to tear the previous one down. According to the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, God, that's a long title, director Francis Lawrence, the biggest difference between core series protagonist Katniss and the prequels Lucy Gray is the fact that the latter is an extrovert who wears her sexuality on her sleeve. Jennifer Lawrence added to this saying, Katniss was an introvert and a survivor, explained Lawrence of the difference between the two characters. She was quiet and stoic. You could almost say that she was asexual. Gray is the opposite, wears her sexuality on her sleeve, and she really is a performer. So Katniss is the introvert and asexual, and Lucy is the performer and sexual one. Where are we? Are we sure we're casting this correctly, guys? That's a joke. By the way, ladies, all tits are wonderful. Why are we even talking about this? Isn't this a movie about kids killing each other? Why would there even be sex? Now, because Rachel managed to carve herself such a negative reputation by just opening her mouth, having her in the forefront of this movie presented as the anti-Katniss doesn't really help her current situation. The director of the movie seems to have forgotten that people actually like Katniss. So people are already turning down this new movie, which is completely unrelated from any Disney drama, just because Rachel is in it. I do believe this is just Twitter though. In IMDb and other sites, this movie remains in the positive, but Twitter, or X, being an isolated world separated from the real one where unfortunately people exist, does not like Rachel Zegler, especially after her history of attempted cancellations of actors who people are actually quite fond of, like Jeremy Renner and Gina Carano. The shit that Rachel posted against Jeremy Renner was crazy. What's even more crazy is that she later tried to play the victim, wearing hoodies that say shit like "no more tears left to cry" and refusing to give any more press comments, which I'm sure the upper levels of Disney just sent down a message saying, tell this girl to shut the fuck up. The actor strikes not allowing her to promote the movie is probably the best thing that ever happened to them. And that's also the thing, as a Disney princess, she breaks the mold in a rather unflattering way. I didn't see the Snow White movie with Kristen Stewart back in the day, but this was one of the interviews that she did about the film.
Well, I think everybody knows that she's good. I think everybody knows that her basic characteristic is that she's very compassionate and that she cares about people and sort of that she's like ultimately selfless. And sort of put that character that we all know really well in a dangerous world and see if she can stay that way and not, obviously not just die, but also not become hardened, really kind of maintain that heart. I think it's really female. I think to play an action movie that's really kind of like in your face and loud, and I think it's wrong. I think that's kind of the opposite of girl power, I think.
So that's kind of something you expect being said by an actress playing a character such as Snow White. And then you have the lovely Rachel Zegler,
I just mean that it's no longer 1937. She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
That's the opposite of what we want.
Shout out to my boy Jeff, whose tweet I stole. I am not even sorry. So Snow White having the prince rescuing her being such a prominent story amongst people, and it's a narrative that's been around for the larger part of the last century, it's understandable why such a backlash started when the oh so beloved modern take that racks up cash by the ton, that's sarcasm by the way, Disney is being sued again as we speak, was applied to this movie. So Gail saying that she's not gonna be saved by the prince by the 17th time makes titles like this actually make a modicum of sense. Whether or not this is true, and going back to the Hunger Games movie, I am very curious on how it will perform, or how will Rachel's presence affect this movie's success, if there's any to begin with. Because Peter Dinklage is also in this movie, and despite me liking his acting, he's also been in the close proximity of the nuclear fallout that is the new Snow White, so people might also have a reason to dislike him being in it. In my opinion, the trailer looks alright. I personally enjoy some of the Hunger Games movies, particularly that elevator scene. You all know which one I'm talking about? Not a huge fan of the books just because I haven't made the time to read them, so I'll take whatever they give me on face value. But despite all of the controversy and people calling Rachel Brie Larson 2.0, there's still a lot of people supporting her, because the internet is full of weirdos. Like this lady here who tweeted saying that conservatives have demonized Rachel and twisted everything she said in order to justify harassing her. I don't really have any political leniencies, and it's true that she's a very young, successful and independent young woman. But someone who tweets something like this to a fellow actor who at the time is going through some shit doesn't really struck me as someone angelic. You don't have to twist anything about that tweet to find it absolutely abhorrent. So we'll have to see if Rachel is eventually able to dig herself out of the hole she's currently in, or if the potential yet inevitable flop of the new Snow White finally managed to bring her down from her pony and maybe treat people a little bit nicer in the following future. In any case, if you watch this far into the video, leave us a like. Let me know in the comments down below if you're a fan of the Hunger Games novels, or if you're excited about this new movie. And as always, I've been Nacho, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.